Hey everyone, this is Kay. Today I would like to talk about something that might seem a bit controversial, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. There was something in my life that I struggled with for a long time, and we all have areas like that. We call it a struggle, but I believe for most of us it's sin. It was for me. The fact is, we all have sin in our lives that needs to be obliterated. And if you try to make yourself feel better thinking that your sin is just a struggle, right? Because all you do is gossip a little or tell a few white lies, then let me be your friend and burst your bubble because gossip destroys and God doesn't even want to look at a liar. So your struggle is sin, just like the ones we categorize as the big ones, which, I don't even have to list because we all know what they are. So we all have something in our lives that we need obliterated once and for all. So I was crying out to the Lord for deliverance from mine. I wanted the cycle to end. I had been going from freedom to bondage to freedom to bondage too many times and for too long. And I sincerely wanted it to end. But each time my cries were coming from a guilty heart. I was guilty for what I was doing, and I should have been. So I cried out to the Lord, and I cried out to the only one who could ease my guilt. And because he's good, he did. But that did not free me. I was forgiven, but not free. But one day, my cries for deliverance started coming from a heart of love, not guilt. I loved Jesus, and I wanted to be free of the things that hindered our relationship. So this new cry for freedom had nothing to do with guilt or shame, yet I didn't have the strength to be free on my own. I had tried and failed so many times, but was unable to stay free. And he knew this. And so my sincere, guilt-free cries for deliverance activated him. Remember in the Bible when he promised us a way of escape out of sin? Well, that way had always been there for me, but there were also other ways I could go, and I usually chose the other ways that led back to my place of bondage. But because he knew that my cries for deliverance were coming now from love and not from guilt, he put up roadblocks to the other paths I normally took, and the way of escape, which is the road to him that had always been there, was now the only path available to me. Now you might be wondering if that messes with our free will. And the answer is no. I asked to be free. I asked for help, and my cries were sincere. And so, in all honesty, when the desire to partake in that sin rose up in me, did I get pissed off that my path to walking in my flesh was blocked? Absolutely. And because sometimes deliverance takes a while. Yet at the same time, I praised God because I knew that each moment of freedom was building strength in me. Now, let me give you a practical example of what these roadblocks look like. Let's say that you're the church gossip and you've finally been convicted of this sin and you want out, yet your flesh desires to pick up the phone and participate in this sin. So once you cry out to Jesus for freedom out of love for him and your relationship with him, the roadblocks come into play. So you might pick up your phone to call that friend because, gossip's burning in your heart and this person doesn't pick up all day. And so in between phone calls, you've even started this long text chain. You're trying to get this gossip out of your heart and into somebody else's ear. And the chain has failed to send all day long. And then you finally realize what you were doing. And you praise God for stopping you. Or perhaps you've been saving a juicy piece of gossip for your, weekly lunch with your girlfriends. And you find out that each one of them have canceled. roadblocks. You were trying to participate in this sin, and because God knew your cry for deliverance was sincere, he stopped you. So I feel inclined to give this warning. Freedom is a lifelong journey. And so once that thing you are being hindered by is obliterated, it's destroyed, it's pummeled to death, guess what? That other thing that was underneath the surface, it rises up. So at the same time that you are ministering to those who are caught up in your old sin, showing them the road to freedom, you also have to deal with the next item on the list that the Lord wants to free you from. It's a journey, and you are not alone. All of us suffer with something and need deliverance from something. So remember that there is no big sin, there is no little sin. It's simply sin that needs to be out of our lives. And so I hope that you sincerely turn to God for your deliverance, not out of guilt or shame, but out of love. You want to be free because you love him and you desire a fellowship with him that is not blocked by sin. So I hope the word today has motivated you in some way. I pray that you collide with his heart of love for you. And I pray that you have a wonderful day. Be blessed. If you want a transcript of this message, just click on the link below.